Hey guys, welcome back to King's Outdoor Life. I forgot to film an intro, so I'll let this be my intro. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy this. As a wheelchair ramp build that we're doing for a lady here, lives pretty close to us. So we'll do 2 videos, one with all the setup, and then the next video with a time lapse of the actual install. Again, thanks for watching. Click like, subscribe, and share with a friend.
All right, so pro tip here I was given by a guy who watched the video about the other wheelchair ramp. He says take all your lumber and these 5/4 boards we're going to cut on 40 inches and put them, end to end right here. Make sure they're all on the end. Mark one of them at your 40 inches. He said then come here and mark all the way across the board. Mark it down here at 40 inches. Come all the way across the board. So we'll have every board marked. So we can mark 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 boards at a time instead of 1 board at a time. And then we can set them up on the miter saw and cut them. So a great little pro tip from him there again. It's make sure the ends line up. So then come down here to this end. Either one end or the other is going to line up. So we'll start this end, make sure all these line up. We'll mark these, that'll be 40. We'll mark this end, make sure all these line up. And we'll cut this and make sure those are 40, and then you'll have 40 left in the middle. These are 10-foot boards. 120 inches, it's 340s. All right, so I marked all these boards with my little trick there, so they're all marked on the end. I'm gonna cut 2 at a time, so I'm gonna slide them down, make sure these 2 lines, it's hard to see with that back lighting, not very good lighting. Anyway, I'll make sure those 2 lines add up, and I can cut 2 at a time. So I'll cut these boards and move on from there. Close to the same length. We got about a 1/2 inch on every board. I'm gonna leave the line. I'm gonna cut on this side of the line, and that'll make every one of these boards close to the same length, rather than making that extra cut. All right, that's got them all cut. So we've got, let's see, I don't remember the full number. Anyway, 24 feet of runners here. We're gonna bring the 2x6s in and lay those out there, and we'll start connecting all those. All right, so I'd asked for 2x8s and somehow I got 2x6s, but it'll be fine. We'll make it work. It'll still carry the load. I'm not worried about that. So what I was gonna do though is the last wheelchair ramp, we did that 8-foot section and we split it diagonally. We're gonna do the same thing with these, except I'm gonna need to do it on a 2x6 this time instead of 2x8. So I'll take this one right here and I'll cut it diagonally, and we'll have enough to build that last ramp part that I always do. I got some scrap here to brace up in between, and we'll put this thing together. See what it is, it's sitting on top of that. It's not sitting level.
we'll check these two. They should be the same. Wood's never the same, but that's actually really good. I'm proud of that. Okay, we'll cut that one. We're good to go.
Nail all this together now. For all these runners, they're always on a 1 and 12. So I'm gonna put a 1/12 pitch for the end of the runner. It'll go on the other end. My saw will reach here. So I'm gonna cut it on this end and then flip it around. So I'll mark this here 1 and 12. And then also on this one here, there's a step that comes out 11 inches at 5 inches. So I'll notch the bottom of this so it'll fit around that step. All right, so I should have been running video all this time, but basically all we did is we just put these boards, and everywhere there's going to be a post, I left 2 boards out. So there's going to be a post down here, a post right here. There won't be a post here, but what I do is I put some just scrap verticals that go from that centerpiece to the ground and each one to the ground just to add more stability. Post here, some verticals here, and there'll be a post at the end. And I left the gap here because of where the steps that are existing steps are there. So I left that open so we can work on those existing steps. All right, so if we were putting this ramp in where I could dig holes and bury the 4x4s, then I would do that, and I would do the last post all the way down here at the very end. But since I can't, I come back a few feet in and I put the last post here, so I've got enough board here to nail to that. And then with the 2x4s that go to the next post will give it stability. So I know if it were at the end, it would be 36 inches. But since it's, you know, I'll measure this here and get a measurement. Since we're 3 feet from the end, it's going to be 3 inches longer than 36 from the top of my board. Okay, so I need to know where that's the top of the board to the top of the ramp. So 36 plus 3 in that case is 39, plus 3 inches on the board is 40. So each of these end ones need to be 40 inches, and this one is 4 feet further up. So it's going to be 4 inches longer. Each of those is going to be 44 inches, and then 8 feet further up, and all the way up here at the end where it's 27 inches from this part right here where this is going to tap into the porch down to the bottom. It's 27 inches high. So plus my inch for the 5/4 board is 28, plus 36 is 64. So I have 64-inch posts on the end, and then I'll leave these a little long, and then I can always let them clear above my handrail, but I'll put my handrail at least at 36 inches. And I'm gonna put a little decorative cut on these. Sometimes I do this, I don't know, just for fun, but anyway, on this one, whatever reason, I decided to put a little decorative cut on the end of it, and then I'll run that 2x4 handrail right below the top. So I'll cut them roughly to length here, and I can always take a little bit off of them on site, but at least I'm not wagging full 8-foot 4x4s around. All right, let's get them cut, and I'll cut these first 2 out of one post, the second 2 out of one 4x4x8, and that way I don't have near as much scrap. All right, so these first one is going to be about 41. So I'm going to come here, 96 is my total. So I'm going to come up here. I'd rather have it too long and cut an inch off on site. So I'm going to cut it at 42 there, and I'll turn my tape around. So It's always hard to do things when you're trying to hold a camera with one hand. And 42 on this end. So I'll get 2 posts out of this. All right, so usually what I do is I make a decorative cut where I take my skill saw and I cut it at a 45 and I basically bevel. Let's see here if I can make my pencil marks. I basically bevel a 45 off all corners. So it comes down like this and it cuts a 45 like so. I'm gonna try to do that with my miter saw here instead of having to set up the skill saw. See if I can get a better cut on it. I'm going to have to think through where I need to set this in order to make that happen. All right, so what I got here, by coming down an inch from each one, then I got kind of a cool, I don't know if you can see that or not. I think it's cool anyway. Just a little bit better than a flat post. And this sweet old lady, her husband has cancer and she's taking care of him. And I think just a little touch like that would be nice. So what I did on my fence here, on my miter saw, I put a mark. So now all I have to do is put each of these on that mark and I'll get this cool end. All right, and then leave nothing in the center but the yellow wood sticker. I'll pull that yellow wood sticker on there. I hate those yellow wood stickers. Really, I probably should have cut the other end with that knot. I didn't see that knot, but this will go flat on the concrete and this will be up here like this, and that'll be good. Here's a pro tip. Sometimes you can take a corner of your speed square to pop those staples out. Or not a pro tip, an amateur tip. All right, I'm gonna do this with all these posts and we'll move on. Okay, so at this point, we pretty well have a wheelchair ramp built. All the different posts, you can kind of see, if I get on this angle, you can see all the angles are going up. Obviously, tomorrow, this won't be laying flat on the ground. This end down here will be 27 inches off the ground up on those posts. So I'm gonna set this on the trailer now, all in one piece. And then tomorrow, we'll have a bunch of strapping, young, healthy, strong guys to help me carry this into place and put it at level. Oh, one thing I was going to show you. You'll see a little bit of a gap right there between these boards. And see, once I pick this up and get this at the correct angle, that gap will pull out and I'll put some screws in there to pull that gap together. So one thing there, lots of times I won't put this end section on. I don't know why, I was feeling froggy today, I guess. I decided to go ahead and put this last 8 feet on there and try to carry all 24 feet in one move. I may regret it. I may wish I'd only done a 16-foot section, stopped it there, and then put the 24-foot section, I mean the 16 and the 8 for the total 24. So I can always separate it right there. It's not a big deal. I can take a sawzall and cut those nails or whatever, but I think we can move it without trouble. I get enough guys, we can move it.